Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. I am incredibly excited to share this deck with you today. We're taking a look at one of the most fun and unique new commanders from Bloomburrow, the one and only Baylen the Haymaker. Right off the bat, you can just see how awesome this card is. For just 3 mana in Naya colors, we get this fantastic 4/3 Rabbit Warrior. And his abilities are where the real fun begins. Baylen is all about using tokens as a resource in a super cool and flexible way. His first ability lets us tap 2 untapped tokens to add 1 mana of any color. This is an amazing ramp that can help us cast our bigger spells way ahead of curve. His second ability lets us tap 3 untapped tokens to draw a card, giving us a powerful built-in card advantage engine right in the command zone. And his third ability is our big finisher. We can tap 4 untapped tokens to put 3+1/+1 counters on Baylen and give him trample. This lets us turn our wide board of tokens into a massive game-ending threat. This deck is all about going wide with a ton of creature tokens and then using those tokens to power up our game plan, draw cards, and ultimately swing in for the win with a giant commander. It's a super fun, proactive, and powerful strategy that I can't wait to show you. The heart and soul of this deck is creating a massive army of tokens. The more tokens we have, the more resources we have for Baylen's abilities. So we are packed with some of the best token generators in the game. First up, we have the amazing Kadara, Caller of the Small. This awesome Orc Ranger has trample, and whenever she deals combat damage to a player, we create a 1/1 rabbit token for each token we already control. This can get out of hand incredibly fast, doubling our token count with a single swing. And the Warren War Leader is another fantastic rabbit knight that creates a tapped and attacking rabbit token whenever we attack. It also has an offspring ability, so we can pay extra to get a token copy of it as it enters. And for a really explosive token producer, we have the Jacked Rabbit. We can pump a ton of mana into its X cost to make it huge. And whenever it attacks, it creates a number of 1/1 rabbit tokens equal to its power. It's a 1-card army that can flood the board of tokens for us to use. So we're making a bunch of tokens, but how do we take our strategy to the next level? With token doublers, of course. These enchantments are some of the most powerful effects in any token-based strategy, and they are absolutely incredible in our deck. The one and only doubling season is a commander staple for a reason. It doubles the number of tokens we create and the number of counters we place on our permanents. This means our token generators are twice as effective, and Baylen's pump ability gives him a whopping 6+1/+1 counters instead of 3. In a similar vein, Branching Evolution is a fantastic enchantment that also doubles the number of +1/+1 counters we put on our creatures. And for an explosive instant speed trick, we have Second Harvest. This amazing spell creates a token copy of every single token we control, which can often double our army in the middle of combat or at the end of an opponent's turn, setting us up for a massive turn with Baylen. Now, one of the coolest things about a go wide token strategy is that we can also go tall at the same time. We have some amazing creatures that get bigger and bigger based on the number of creatures we control. Regal Bunnycorn is a fantastic 2-drop whose power and toughness are equal to the number of non-land permanents we control. With all the tokens we're making, this cute little rabbit can quickly become one of the biggest threats on the board. The Burrow Guard Mentor is another powerhouse that gets bigger for each creature we control. And it has trample to make sure it can push through a ton of damage. And to lead our adorable army, we have the Valley Quest Caller. This awesome rabbit warrior is a lord for our small creatures, giving all of our rabbits, bats, birds, and mice +1/+1. It also lets us scry whenever one of those creatures enters, which is a great way to smooth out our draws. Beyond just getting bigger, we have some amazing creatures that help us build our board with powerful +1/+1 counters. The legendary Burke, Long Ear of the Law, is an absolute all-star in this deck. When he enters, he puts a counter on up to 2 creatures, and then whenever a creature we control with a counter on it attacks, he doubles the number of counters on it. This can lead to some absolutely massive creatures in a single combat step. Phineas Ace Archer is another fantastic rabbit that puts a +1/+1 counter on all of our other rabbits and token creatures whenever he attacks. And he even draws us a card if our team is big enough. And for a great early game threat, we have the Valley Mightcaller. This 1-mana frog warrior has trample and gets a +1/+1 counter whenever another small woodland creature enters the battlefield. It's a great way to start building a threat from the very first turn. To make our massive army of tokens truly terrifying, we have some incredible Anthem effects that can turn our small creatures into a game-ending threat. Beastmaster Ascension is a classic for a reason. With all the creatures we're attacking with, we can easily get 7 quest counters on it, at which point all of our creatures get a massive +5/+5 boost. It's an absolute game changer. The new War Leader's Call from Murders of Karlov's Manor is another fantastic anthem, giving our team +1/+1 and dealing 1 damage to each opponent whenever a creature enters our battlefield. This provides a steady stream of damage that can really add up over the course of a game. And for a really fun and unique way to go tall, we have Thickest in the Thicket. This enchantment can double a creature's power with +1/+1 counters when it enters. And then it draws us 2 cards at our end step if we control the biggest creature on the board. Alright, now let's talk about some of the awesome ways to get extra value from our creatures and tokens. The Bramble Sovereign is a fantastic dryad that lets us pay 2 mana whenever another non-token creature enters to create a token copy of it. This is an absolute amazing way to double up on our ETB effects, or get an extra copy of a powerful ward. In a similar vein, Molten Echoes is an enchantment that lets us choose a creature type, and then whenever a non-token creature of that type enters, we get a temporary token copy of it with haste. It's a great way to get in some extra damage and abuse our ETB triggers. And for a really flexible and powerful enchantment, we have the Caretaker's Talent. This class enchantment draws us a card whenever a token enters, lets us copy a token, and eventually gives all of our creature tokens +2/+2. It's an amazing engine that does everything our deck wants to do. One of the funnest parts about playing Commander is the politics, and our deck has a whole suite of tempting offer cards that create really fun and interesting decisions for the table. Tempt with Bunnies is a super flavorful and fun card that lets us draw a card and make a rabbit, and then each opponent gets the chance to do the same. For each opponent who takes the offer, we get another card and another rabbit. It's a great way to build our board while also making some friends. Tempt with Glory is another fantastic political tool that lets us put a +1/+1 counter on all of our creatures, and then our opponents can do the same. For each opponent who does, we get to put another round of counters on our entire team. And for a really powerful ramp spell, there's Tempt with Discovery. It lets us search our library for any land and put it onto the battlefield. And then our opponents can do the same. For each opponent who does, we get to search for another land. It's an amazing way to ramp and find our best utility lands. Let's look at some of the really awesome utility spells that really make our deck tick. Harvest Season is a fantastic ramp spell that works perfectly with our commander's ability. Since we've often tap our tokens to activate Baylen, we can then cast Harvest Season to search our library for a bunch of basic lands, which is a great way to get a huge mana advantage. Now, Two Arms is an amazing instant speed trick that untaps all of our creatures and draws us a card. This can be used to surprise our opponents with a bunch of blockers, or even better, to untap all of our tokens and get another round of activation from Baylen. And for a truly explosive mana advantage, we have Growing Rites of Itlamok. This enchantment helps us dig for a creature, and then once we have 4 or more creatures, it transforms into Itlamok, Cradle of the Sun, a land that can tap for a green mana for each creature we control. With our massive army of tokens, this can generate an absolutely insane amount of mana. Now, even though our deck is very proactive and focused on building our board, we still need some good interaction to deal with our opponent's threats. Luckily, Naya has access to some of the best removal in the game. Swords of Plowshare and Path to Exile are classic 1-mana spells that can exile any creature, no questions asked. They are the gold standard for a reason, and they are perfect for clearing the way for our big attacks. And for those moments when the board gets a little too cluttered with creatures, we have Blasphemous Act. This is a fantastic board wipe that can often be cast for just a single red mana. And it's perfect for resetting the board and allowing us to rebuild faster than our opponents with our powerful token generators. To make sure our deck runs smoothly and consistently, we have a great package of utility artifacts. Protecting our commander is super important. So we're running both Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots. These amazing pieces of equipment give our creatures haste and either Shroud or Hexproof, ensuring that Baylen can come down and start activating his abilities right away without being targeted by removal. And of course, no commander's deck would be complete without the one and only Soul Ring. It's the best mana rock ever printed for a reason, and it helps us to get our game plan online a turn or two ahead of schedule, which is exactly what an aggressive deck like ours wants to be doing. And that's it for our deep dive into this awesome and super fun Baylen the Haymaker commander deck. And as you can see, this deck is just an absolute blast. It's a unique and powerful take on a Naya token strategy, and it leverages Baylen's amazing ability to turn a wide board of small creatures into a massive engine of value and game-ending threat. If you love building a huge army, drawing a ton of cards, and swinging in with a giant commander, I honestly can't recommend this deck enough. What are some of your favorite token generators or payoffs for a Baylen deck? I would love to hear your ideas in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.